Okay, hello everybody. Why does something seem off with my screen? Okay, we should be live. I'm surprised it went live without me hitting the live button. That was surprising. All right, I have not slept in a while, so it's been it's gonna be an interesting stream. Hello, Flores. My brain is not let me tell you something. Right now, I should not be trading. And I'm not really, but you know, when you're running on little sleep, like less than 5 or 6 hours, I don't recommend trading. I just don't. That's the advice for this stream. All right, so let's talk about what happened, right? So Trump, what happened with Trump? Does anybody know what happened? I mean, I'm sure we've all seen on X.com. Trump basically, it's just a Greenland fiasco, and Europe's decided to fight back. So the circus continues, and the holiday weekend is always the perfect time for the market to pump and also the market to dump. We can look also here, right? January 1st, massive pump. That was the big pump. They spent 2 weeks distributing, and then we dumped. Both were holidays. They use holidays because that's when it's easiest to move the market. There's less liquidity. So that's kind of why this has happened, in my opinion. It's not random, and you have to pay attention to these kind of things. So anytime you see a holiday coming up, you got to look, okay, well, what could potentially happen? How could they screw everyone? What does this pattern look like? And in hindsight's 2020, obviously, right? So in hindsight, this is kind of like a distributory pattern, and it makes sense that they dumped. Even more so with Bitcoin. Like if we look at Bitcoin right on a daily chart. So January 1st, right? Massive pump, second pump, and then distribution, although it happened a lot faster. I don't know how Bitcoin keeps dumping when MSTR keeps buying. Sailor bought, it was like his second biggest buy in the past year. 2 billion or something of Bitcoin. Recently, they just announced they diluted their stock. I don't recommend buying MSTR stock because they're literally selling their stock so then they can go and buy Bitcoin, which is good for Bitcoin. But if you're a shareholder in MSTR, yeah, you're not gonna be doing that well because the stock keeps dumping because they keep selling it to buy Bitcoin, which I don't even know how it's legal. But you can see how it's just sitting down here on the weekly. This is extremely bearish. There's no real bullishness here. I'd need to see a cross on the weekly chart here, and let me adjust this. Hold on. Maybe there's been a slight crossover. Yeah, very slight crossover here. But I'm not a fan. I'd recommend buying Bitcoin or coin or something else that actually generates revenue. Ethereum looks terrible. You can see as we broke down straight through my trend line, and we just kept going. So this is when you would have wanted to consider cutting at around 31.30, and now it's just straight bear, and I can't recommend any buys. I'm sure you guys remember when Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's a bit better. It's not as bad looking, but you probably remember earlier today where I longed Bitcoin here, and then it started to look really bad. So then I cut my long, and I said, I'm not going to sit in my long. I'm going to exit. And that's because price simply didn't bounce. I wanted to see a bounce, but instead it rejected from this uptrending channel, which is very bearish and not what you want to see if you're a bull. And now we have the S&P doing the same thing. Everything kind of looks the same. Look at this parallel channel. This channel goes back to May of 2025. So almost a year ago. We're breaking down. Now this did happen one time before. We broke down here for about one day, Thursday to Friday, and then by the end of Friday we closed in above it. It could be something like that. It looks like they're trying to turn it around, but really we need to get back above this 68.70 area and hold above it. Otherwise, I just can't get too bullish. I mean, this starts to look very ugly, this RSI trend line that I've showed you multiple times where we're basically breaking down. We need to rally and come back into this compression area, and if we can't, then that's when things get ugly. As of right now, I would lean bearish. I want to be bullish. I want to believe that, you know, we can bounce here because, you know, they always try to save the market. But on the higher time frames, all this is right now is a bearish retest. So as long as we don't close above 68.70, this is a bearish retest and we could head much, much lower. So then the question becomes, okay, well, how low? Where are we going? Well, this is a major support level, right? 66.50. And then you have another major support here at 62, and then another one down here at 6,000, although you can make an argument for it being 61.26. We can also use fibs, right? And we can look at the entire range. Say, okay, well, where's our 38.2, for example? All right, we can go all the way to the bottom, all the way to the top, and we can change to a different one. Like that, and flip it. And we can see that 38.2 is all the way down here, which lines up with our major support, 61.55. And that would give back how much? So it's only a 10% drop, but it means that we would return to where we were in July, giving back almost 6 months of price action. And it would happen very, very quickly. So moment of truth here. You want to see it close above 68.70 and then we're fine. Bull continues. If we don't and we reject, yeah, it's not going to be good. Hello, Brian. Hello, everybody. Hello, Zig. Hello, Urias. Hello, Floris. We can look at our options expiry. Usually I like to look at that later in the week, but we can look at that. We're going to look at the liquidity map too, by the way. I can also look at options. Well, I'll get into crypto. There's so many things to look at in crypto. But for now, we want to look at max pain levels for the 23rd. Yeah. Max pain. Right now, you've got a lot more puts than calls. Normally, that means they're not going to let the market roll over. So 680, you have a massive put wall. Max pain will be 6920, so 6900. Right now we are at 683, and you can see how we were at 681 and we bounced from there. And we can pull this back up and you can see 690. So we're right here. Okay. You want to close up here to hit that max pain. Now we're definitely not going to close above 69.50, but I options say, now they're not always right, but options imply that we're not going to go below 6,800. That's the floor. The floor has been broken in the past. Keep that in mind. It's not like a guarantee that we're not going to go below. Let's look at like a 30-minute chart. So 30-minute looks decent. However, 1 hour also looks decent. 15-minute, you have like a TD7 here. So it's looking like it could roll over if this keeps pushing. There's obviously a massive battle happening here. So I have to see how that develops. But like I said, I'm kind of on the sidelines with this. I don't want to be in this right now. I do have a bunch of longs. So if this drops off, I will be hurting a little bit. But luckily, I do actually have a natural gas trade. I mentioned the natural gas trade. I originally wasn't going to take it, but then I took it. I just didn't. I didn't want to alert about taking it because I feel like natural gas can be quite risky, and it's really dependent on weather more than charts. And I've been watching a couple like X accounts that talk about the weather, and they made some very good points for why there's going to be a cold front rolling in, and that's how we ended up with natural gas up nearly. So this was my buy on Friday. It's up 26%, and I bought it with a rather large position, which is helping me with this whole dump. So the question is, I guess where, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but where does natural gas end up? I'm targeting like 90-day VWAP just as a easy take profit around $4. I'll probably take profit in most of it. But I don't think it's done yet. I think it could go a bit higher as long as there's not like a massive reversal in the temperatures. It doesn't really matter about the chart. It's really like looking at the weather. You have to become like a meteorologist. But I just follow a couple accounts that talk about it. So interesting, something you guys can look into if you're bored with stocks or crypto. I think it can be kind of fun to try to be a weatherman and predict this. Okay, so let's look at a couple big names. Hold on, I'll pull up my normal list. I will look at raw honey jar. I don't think I've seen you around, but I will take a look at that. So we talked about Donut before. Looked absolutely terrible. I mentioned that on the last stream, and we could see that it's rolled over quite a bit. Yeah, look at that weekly breakdown. So I could see it going as low as like $1.60. So I'm in a short on this one, just short shares. Let's see what else. A couple things are holding up very well. Intel is holding on. I can't recommend buying it here, but it's way up. I sold my calls that I originally had in it. And if we look at this, all right, so this is your kind of levels. So Intel could go to about 53. I could see a move to 53. Some others, Meta's been getting hammered lately. This is just absolutely a dismal chart. It did bounce. It's created quite the gap here, but really no reversal at all. Weekly looks pretty terrible. It doesn't surprise me considering all the news that's been coming out regarding how much money they're losing with their Meta division. I guess it's not really a creative name, but the metaverse and virtual reality, VR headsets. I think they are pivoting and they're going to make some adjustments, but it doesn't surprise me that the stock is off quite a bit. I think it's in a buy zone though now. If we look at this as a range, right? Yeah, so it did hit the 78.6 and bounce quite hard. No real reversal yet. I want to at least see on a 4-hour. And on the daily, you did have a TD9. You had a TD9 and we broke down from that. If we can reverse and fill the gap, the rest of the market can kind of rally. This could be a decent long. I just don't like how the weekly looks. Still quite negative. I wanna keep the SPX 500 up. Okay. What else do I want to look at? Oh, there's a lot of names, and most of them are down quite a lot. Open is one I've talked about a few times. That continues to seem like it's consolidating and then just doesn't take off. But it does honestly look like it's consolidating. It's on the other side of this daily downtrend. To me, it seems like a bull flag, and the next target is 15. So I think you could get a decent. Again, this is assuming the market doesn't die here. You get like 130% return. I have longs on open still, just waiting patiently. This is why I don't really like to trade any options, because then you don't get unlimited time. But with buying the stock, you essentially get unlimited time, which is great. Baba, people have been talking about Baba a lot. Still looks decent. Weekly, not the best, but a reversal did happen. And on the daily, nice uptrend intact, had a bit of a pullback, but it looks like it could move quite a bit higher. Yeah, 230 was my original target. And if we assume this is a range, yeah, it also puts you at around 230. So I'm targeting 230 for Baba. I'm still sitting in longs, and I think it'll work out as long as, again, the market does not crash and we can recover. It's definitely trying to. Without a doubt, it's trying to. As far as on the short side, I talked about this last week, and I will mention it again. This name Turn. However, I don't like that the daily is reversing now. I'm in decent profits with it. Turn, where's Turn? Yeah, I'm up like 7%. But I don't like that it's starting to reverse like on this 4 hour. So we might get another rally and then a chance to reshort it. So I think I'm thinking that I will exit my short here, let it rally, and then consider shorting again. Because it just went too far too fast, and usually these biotechs don't stay elevated for an overly long time. But I don't like what I'm seeing here. I'm actually going to close. I'm going to close it right now. Because, oops, that is not right. Okay, here we go. Let's do that right now quickly. All right, locked in that profit. Watch it dump after that. But I'd rather be cautious and take the win. Okay, let's see. Tesla, you guys are always interested in Tesla, right? That's like the most popular stock. Tesla kind of fell off a cliff a little bit here and got hammered pretty hard. We look at a weekly. Weekly does not, honestly, it doesn't look great. You know, it's matching up with the rest of the S&P. Well, this is quite a breakdown. I mean, on daily, it's not the end of the world. I think it will follow whatever the S&P does. So if the S&P breaks down, Tesla's going to break down. But if well, more so the Nasdaq, if the Nasdaq breaks down, Tesla's going to break down. But if the Nasdaq can rally, then Tesla will probably rally. That's what I'm seeing. But we could go as low as 400 here. That's your big, again, trendline support level. 400 could even wick down to like 380, 360 area. Tesla automobile figures are not looking good. The EV figures, EV sales are looking quite bad. And people are still waiting for Optimus. They haven't. I don't think there's been any huge announcements regarding it lately. Maybe I missed it, but I didn't see anything. Something that is doing well is UNH, and it's been consolidating for a while. Be forever consolidating. But that's why I just hold shares, because the time doesn't matter. But eventually I see this going to about 480. So something to consider a long on. I like it, and I feel like it's starting to turn around here. And the weekly is bullish, you know, and Warren Buffett bought a bunch of it. I don't like, though, oh, there is a 7 and 8 on the weekly. That's not great. Not great. I will continue to hold it. I mean, if we drop below 300, maybe I'll exit. But where we are right now, I think it's fine. Okay, do I have anything else? Anything else in Stockland? Let's see. Most of my, I had some crypto names, but crypto is just absolutely garbage. Like this is Circle. This is straight down since July, basically. Same with Coin, right? Just down, down, down. I wanted to see it push through here. You can see how it started to, and then it got rejected. Now you see Bitcoin alert crossing down. Got rejected from this. This is not, that was not a good sign when that happened. But you can see on the daily, we broke out bullishly, distributed. So this was that January 1st breakout where probably a lot of people became quite bullish and bought, and now they've all been probably stopped out, or at least close to being stopped out. You can see if you bought, you haven't made any money since May. Let me get rid of that this alert. You haven't made any money since May. So crypto, actually you haven't really, coin hasn't done anything since 2024, March 2024. I mean, that was the big, most of the people that I know did very well in crypto, like in the past few years, they really made the money here. Most people didn't make any money here from March 2024 to January 2020. It's been 2 years, and their wealth is kind of the same / down, because crypto has just not really done anything. Okay, speaking of crypto, let's take a look at what's going on here in more detail. So Bitcoin on a weekly has been bearish. There's really been no move higher. I mean, this looked like it could have been potential move higher, but this is a really ugly weekly rejection. Now we're breaking down, and it's almost looking like, actually, I'd rather use the log. It's almost looking like this is a bear flag. Like imagine if this is a bear flag, and you're going down here to 60K. That would be just, that would hurt. That would be definitely max pain for a lot of people. But that's what this could be. I mean, if the market can't bounce here, and Bitcoin looks like, I mean, this was the daily uptrend that looked decent, but now this was like, okay, maybe it's starting to break down. And today, if we don't bounce back to like 92, 91.5, 92, this is extremely ugly, and I can't recommend buys at all. This could go way lower. You didn't want to see this kind of rejection. I wanted to see some kind of pullback to 94, 95, and then something like this, and then a push up like that. That's what I wanted to see. We got the opposite. So yeah, I don't have anything good to say about this. I don't recommend buys. I just can't. I cannot recommend buys. I can even look at like total. Yeah, complete just rug pull. And the only way to save this is it has to bounce basically today. You need to get some kind of rejection, and it's not. It doesn't seem like it's happening at all. Let's see what else. You can look at Solana. I mean, it's just disaster. It all looks the same, right? On a weekly chart, this looks like crap. So I could, again, see us heading to new lows here. And this is just like a distribution. This even looks like a head and shoulders. Look at that. And all we got to do is break down, and boom, you're done. Maybe down to this, like down to 50 or something. I wish I could say something bullish, but this this looks absolutely terrible. And this looks like it was just a fake out to get some people to be bullish before rug pulling everyone. That's what it looks like to me. I can't recommend touching anything crypto here. I really can't. I want to pull up the SPX. Yeah, and if this can't close above, like I said, if it can't close above 68.80 area today, then kiss the bull market away for a while. I don't even want to go over any names. I mean, there's nothing. I guess I can talk about them, but like Pepe got just destroyed. It's completely retracing. Looks terrible. Fartcoin. And these are all like memes, right? But look at that. Major pump, fully retraced now, and can probably head to new lows. Some boomer coins. I mean, Litecoin looks like absolute disaster. Just going back to the lows, probably head all the way down to like 40 bucks or something, maybe even lower. This weekly, look at how much this weekly RSI has just started rolling over. I mean, none of this looks good. Crypto is obviously way weaker than anything else out there. Ethereum, it's bearish on a weekly chart. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Maybe you can consider being bullish here at like 2,000, 1,800. The only way this can be saved is if the S&P pumps, everything has to pump massively today. So that's my one caveat. If that doesn't happen, this could be just a bear flag and we're heading much lower. Something like, right, just an ABCD. Points you right down to this buy area, 1,800. That's it. That's your zone. I can't recommend crypto at all here. I don't even really like talking about it, but I think it's necessary so that people kind of, I don't know, that a lot of people are interested in crypto. But I can't recommend anything. It looks like absolute trash. You guys are really quiet today. Maybe I'll try refreshing the stream. Nope, no one's talking. Okay, so I'm gonna just answer the ENPH one, and then I think we'll call it a night. I know that I've only been going for about 30 minutes, but you guys aren't really talking that much, and I don't know. I don't have any amazing trades here. It just looks like pure disaster. Okay, you want to look at EN. We're going to look at ENPH. End phase. Did I look at this before? I feel like I looked at this before. Yeah, nice breakout of the weekly. However, you've got a TD 7 and 8 here. So you kind of had your move. I would at least take 50% profits here. I mean, it could continue. Maybe just set a stop loss at like 34 in case it dumps, and then you can re-enter down here. But it's a solid breakout on the weekly chart. I think if it retraces a bit, it'd be a nice long. Maybe you get something like this, where this is kind of your range. It comes back, retraces, and then pumps, and you could get a move up to like 72, something like that. But if you're not long, I would wait for a bit of a pullback. Yeah, it's a super ghost town. I didn't even want to do the show because it's just so shit. It's pure shit. I don't think I can say that on the stream. Sorry, YouTube algorithm. Oh, Brian, is this CRV? Is this a crypto or is it stock? I mean, this just looks like the rest of crypto, right? You had your January 1st pump, distribution, and dump. YB, yield basis. And this looks like even more crap. You just threw 2 turds at me. Absolute turds. Yeah, I can't recommend either of them. I wouldn't touch them. They just look terrible. So there's my feedback. I don't know how helpful that is. Yeah, I mean, you do have privacy coins, right? So XMR, look at that. Oh, even XMR got dumped. You have a 7 printing, so I do recommend being careful, but at least unlike most charts, this weekly is bullish. If you really want to put your crypto somewhere, I mean, maybe XMR is a place to consider. What other privacy? Well, I'm trying to think of other privacy coins. Maybe there's one called like Freedom Dollar. Oh, I forget the name of the coin. There's a coin. Yeah, look at the S&P is rejecting. Very ugly. Very, very ugly. I'm considering hunting some shorts here. I'm gonna see how this candle closes today, on how this daily closes, and then I'll maybe consider some shorts. For right now, I'm not gonna do anything. But if we keep pushing lower, I think it makes sense to really hedge in the event we get like a black swan and we just keep dumping. Because this is an ugly breakdown. This is an ugly breakdown. You guys need to be careful here. This could get very bad in the traditional market, and then even worse in crypto. Crypto is going to be way down here. So just some things to keep in mind. Hopefully that's not the case, and we can close up here today, 68.90, 68.80. But if not, then again, I sound like a broken record, but this will be extremely ugly. You want to be very careful, but only in the event of this not closing above here. So if it doesn't, then we get something like that. But if it does, then we can go back to normal, and all this crypto stuff, it can reverse. It's probably not going to be as strong, but it can do that. But if this breaks down, then everything's kind of doing this. So that's kind of the whole market forecast. I just need to see how this develops, see what happens, and then we can pick a direction. We do have OPEX, right, this week, major OPEX. That's kind of putting a floor, so we might not head any lower, but I don't like how it looks. Zerikella is asking about TRI's new model. So yeah, we're working on a couple things. I can't really disclose too much. I was told last week that after the show that I talk too much. So I can't go into detail, but we're working on a few things, a lot of stuff related to like data aggregation and finding data that I think most people don't really have access to, or they have access to, but it's a bit expensive, or it's hard to understand, and finding ways to make it easier to understand and easier to use and less expensive. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of a clue of what we're planning to do. Couple cool ideas. All right. Be careful out there. Remember what I said multiple times in the show regarding what's happening right here. This is the big thing. So just watch that, and this trend line, this 68.70 level is the battle line. Need to see a daily close above it or below it to kind of decide a direction, preferably 2 days. Although if it's a real crash, you might not even have 2 days. Like, I just do this in like a day and a half. So yeah. Okay. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of the week. I will be in the Discord every day posting. If you're not currently in the Discord, consider joining. I post there basically every day with whatever I'm doing in the market and any kind of trades I'm taking. Trying to be more consistent with that and giving you guys more trades because I think everyone seems to like that. Okay, that's it for me tonight. It's midnight here. I will see you guys in the lounge. All right, bye.